for probably the last 4 or 5 years. But our irrigation is the issue. We haven't any much of a snowpack, and the reservoirs are low. So we'll probably have a good start to our seeding and to a season of growth. But as soon as the heat hits, if we don't have irrigation, that's going to be an issue.
So when you're looking at beginning spring seeding this year?
Well, we got a pretty good moisture event coming, looks like this week yet, so which is great, and hopefully put snow in the mountains so we have more snowpack. Generally, the last week of April, the first week of May is when we usually get started, and I'm looking like it's probably going to be in that same time frame, normal time of seeding by the looks of it. So the frost is starting to come out, so the water that's laying from the last snow we had that melted, it's starting to disappear. So my best guess is end of April, 1st of May.
So David, with the lack of moisture when it comes to irrigation, are you changing your game plan when it comes to farming?
We don't grow any specialty crops, so we aren't as water dependent on crop type as anybody that's growing like potatoes, for an example, sugar beets. They're much more water, or corn, much more water intensive. So right now, no, other than we're not sure what inputs we're going to put in the ground because we're not sure how much water we're going to have.
Now, the province is already making contingency plans should we see more of a drought this year. You feel the lack of moisture will not only impact you, but many others within the agricultural community?
The worry is, I think, if we have a lack of water, is it's not only affects us, but the municipalities, the cities, the towns, the villages, the processing plants, that process our product, like especially potatoes, they're heavy water users. So what's the economic impact going to be if we are in a drought situation again where we have to restrict water? That's the unknown.
He's the director of Alberta Grains and a farmer out by Barron's, Alberta. David Bishop, thanks so much for your time today. Roads and bridges, and is proposing farmers with 5 or more quarters of land to pay $2,500. Many of the farming communities say the tax would be disastrous given their existing tight profit margins and would open the door to future hikes. The county, however, says some farms already received a break on residential taxes that they need to pay their fair share. The province says if Budget 2024 passes, millions of dollars would be invested over the next few years to upgrade wastewater, which supports communities throughout the Edmonton area. Officials say as populations grow in central Alberta, upgrades are desperately needed at the wastewater treatment plant. Transportation and Economic Corridors Minister Devin Dreeshen says if the budget passes, in total, $481 million will go out to municipalities for grant applications over the next 3 years, and water is top of mind for many people.
We need to manage our water in a sustainable and environmentally friendly way. And so that is why I'm proud to say that in Budget 24 has a $50 million grant to Arrow Utilities, former the Edmonton Capital Region Wastewater Commission, to build this project right behind us. So it'll be an impressive investment to Arrow Utilities that will increase the treatment of water, and that will also keep water rates affordable to, as Ken mentioned, the 400,000 people living in the Edmonton Capital Region, and will also create a revenue stream, and I promise that's the first and only water pun that I'm going to use today, that will be used to sell fresh water for industrial purposes in the surrounding Edmonton region, and that equates to about 35 million liters per day. That would be taken out of the North Saskatchewan River that will be replaced with this facility. And just putting that into perspective, that's 14 Olympic-sized swimming pools every day that would be drawn out of the North Saskatchewan River that now will not have to be.
Teachers in Saskatchewan are upping the ante in their labor dispute with the government. A one-day province-wide walkout is being planned for Wednesday. That is the same day the province introduces their budget. Contract talks between the two sides have hit a snag over issues such as classroom sizes and other workplace conditions. The teachers want those issues in the contract, but government officials do not. There are many thoughts when it comes to discipling and disciplining a child. Abe Block, retired pastor, now a great-grandfather, shares some seasoned advice on the importance of teaching kids and how there are consequences for children's actions.
Discipline needs to be in moderation, but it needs to be in relation to what the problem was. Not just some wild thing out there, but try and build it so that they learn there are consequences. Look at the world today. A lot of people haven't learned consequences, and we're living with a lot of difficulty and chaos in our world. because there are consequences. As you grow up and get into your job, there are going to be discipline issues. You need to learn them when you're young and when it's not so hard.
Catch more parenting advice from retired Pastor Abe Locke in my interview with him coming up later in our broadcast. Well, it was so nice to enjoy the warm temperatures here in southwestern Alberta to begin our work week, but much colder temperatures, even some flurries, however, are on the way for our region. Full weather details are coming up.